know you've got sound. Do me a favor, like and share. Give me a comment, crush those algorithms. So today is a big, big day. The financial transfer and reset is now in effect and moving ahead, steaming ahead on the heels of massive geopolitical World War III conflict. Of course, we covered in the news yesterday the USS Abraham Lincoln and U.S. naval forces dramatically shooting down a Iranian drone, up to two, that had hostile intentions. Donald Trump also warned the Ayatollah just about an hour ago that he should be very, very worried unless he comes to the negotiating table. Israel is also looking for clearance, according to reports, to strike Iran first. And so everything is posturing to a huge capitulatory move. And this is just Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. So again, I love you guys. Make sure you're following me on X. I did a big video earlier this morning, right when I woke up. Jim Cramer is calling for everybody to sell their Bitcoin. He says now is the time to get out. We're seeing panic across the financial markets, and so I bought. In fact, I did a big video, actually maxed out my kids' retirement contributions today for the year 2026 and bought more Bitcoin and other various cryptos, which, by the way, you should be doing exactly the same. Take advantage of any, tax-deferred accounts. The accounts I have my kids in, for example, have no taxes on capital gains, no taxes on withdrawals, because they're all after-tax contributions, and it's going to be worth a lot of money in the future. Again, Americans are panicking right now with the reveal of everything that's going on in the world and coming to the understanding that, yes, the elites are fully transferring the system into a new one, that this is the stable coin golden age reset I've been predicting now for multiple decades. They're starting to understand that all the elites are on the Epstein list. We saw the dramatic report from Melinda Gates yesterday, admitting that her husband essentially is a creep, and that the allegations of his involvement with all kinds of detestable things makes her very, very sad. So watch that video. And this is really important to understand, because just like the elites were lying to you then and before and covering everything up, and just like they lied to you in 2020, the question Americans should be asking now is not just what happened then that they were lied to about, but what's happening now today that they're being lied to about. And again, my video this morning really perfectly states it. In fact, let me even just play it for you real quick. Another reason to follow me here on X for important reports such as this. All right, folks, General Greene here. See that? That's the moon right there. So just maxed out kids' retirement accounts earlier this morning. Tax-free, all gains tax-free, future withdrawals tax-free, but of course you can borrow against your crypto. Guys, capitulation is happening now. Max fear, max FUD in Bitcoin and crypto. You should be buying literally everything, maxing out everything. This is when you want to buy. By the blood, we are moving towards what I believe is going to be massive capitulation to the moon. Massive capitulation. Again, the elites are doing exactly what I predicted a year ago in my green Lamborghini. Pump their own central bank bags, pump gold and silver prices, which is what the central banks disproportionately currently own in reserves. Create all that paper wealth, and then transfer that paper wealth off the books, net neutral. It's not going to be shown on the paint because it's being hidden right now, and it's going to come out later. They've been buying what with it? Bitcoin, crypto, stable coins. Trump to declare his executive action emergency order, upgrade the U.S. dollar, give us an entirely new system, paint over and paper over the 40 trillion debt with hyperinflation with cheaper dollars, which is what they're doing. And again, proving my point, we all know that gold and silver prices were artificially suppressed by the crooks on Wall Street. See that bird? That's got artificially suppressed with paper derivatives for years. JP Morgan Chase and Jamie Dimon, they've been suppressing silver and gold prices. What, you think they're just allowing gold and silver to run now for no reason? No. It's a part of the plan and their program to reset the system. Use what they already have. At the end of all this, the elites will have a complete monopoly on everything, and this includes all central banks. They will own gold, silver reserves, and Bitcoin and crypto reserves, which is the future of money and technology, like I explained decades ago in my book, Think and Grow Bitcoin Rich. So again, it's a very easy, understandable transition into the new system, and everyone betting against Bitcoin will be proven wrong. Again, they've been proven wrong for decades now. Max fear, max pain, max capitulation. This is where the elites honestly go for the final capitulatory move. Twist the knife and turn it. Get everybody on the wrong side, and then sudden announcements up only. We've seen this many times before with FTX. We saw this with John McAfee. We saw this with Hayes. We saw this with CZ and Binance and all that controversy. Silk Road, Sam Bankman, CIA freed. We've seen it over and over again. It plays out in this routine fashion. So again, what do? You want to be a buyer here. I'll have more updates soon. God bless. Jesus Christ is King. Let other people live in fear. Okay, so you can watch that full video, replay it, watch it again because it's very succinct. And I, of course, explain what the plan has always been. Keep in mind, a year ago, I told you that the elites would pump gold and silver artificially. They would remove all their naked short selling to pump their own bags to increase their net worth and then transfer all that new money and paper wealth they created out of thin air by lifting those, short naked derivatives and buying what? Crypto, Bitcoin, and stable coins. It will be announced soon by Elon Musk, Fortune 100 companies like Apple Computers, that they have been buying Bitcoin at these prices and levels. Again, they want to keep what they want to buy low, and they want to pump what they existingly own high, which is what they're doing with gold and silver, which has traditionally been the disproportionate central bank reserves. But at the end of all of this, you have to understand that the elites will have a full monopoly on both asset classes. Again, they make the rules, they make the legislation, they make the laws. And what they're doing is papering over the old debt of 40 trillion by weakening the dollar intentionally by design, which is what Donald Trump said a week ago. He was like, yeah, the dollar's doing just fine, meaning he wants it to decline because the cheaper, worthless dollars that aren't worth anything are being used to pay back the old debt. And that's how they're going to do it and then grow themselves out of it, or at least try to, using AI and robotics and crypto and blockchain, which is where most of Wall Street's capital and money is going. Just take a look at NVIDIA stock, for example. So the big point I want to make today is this ties into the geopolitical shock move. And this is something I truly understand better than anyone in the world. All of this ties into Iran. One of the main reasons, for example, gold and silver has been trading like a crap coin with massive volatility, up and down. 41% loss last week, huge gains prior to that, is because of what I'm saying now. Because gold and silver has been front running what everybody knows and all the insiders know is a regime change in Iran, which we know there's only two options: a decapitatory strike, which I think is most likely, and or some kind of sudden midnight deal. But by the way, both of those events are bullish for risk assets. I'm fully expecting the Dow Jones Industrial Average to crush 50K and a new all-time high very soon. And my thesis has been for months now that gold and silver will sell off on that news because it's already front-run all that fear. And the US government and the insiders and our strategic crypto Bitcoin reserve already pumped their bags enough to buy all the crypto and Bitcoin that they want with the artificially inflated gold and silver. You have to understand, all this is financial engineering. They create dollars from nothing, backed by nothing. Wall Street trades paper back and forth and derivatives that they've created that are synthetic and that aren't even real. So for the central bank to just pump its gold and silver reserves is nothing. They just get all the banks in on it, pump it, then they take it and through net neutral off the books purchases, which you're not going to see till later, gobble up everything that they want. And that's all they're doing. And we see it online because people have truly capitulated. Like, it's peak fear, guys. It's maximum FUD. People are even accusing Jeffrey Epstein for founding Bitcoin at this point. It's hilarious. We've seen this time immemorial with the collapse of FTX, Silk Road, John McAfee, CZ Binance, Hayes is another individual. They always pull some kind of capitulatory shenanigan. Then they pump us 3 to 5x the opposite direction up only. And they're going to do the same. So these are historical price points to acquire. And I just tell you guys what I do. I mean, again, I'm literally, like, no joke. This is not hyperbole. I'm literally maxing out my kids' retirement accounts into Bitcoin and crypto right now, making sure I've contributed as much as possible to every tax-deferred vehicle that I have within reason to pad their pockets for the future. So we know where this is going. And again, anyone betting against Trump, anyone betting against billionaires that own Bitcoin, anyone betting against BlackRock, it's why they have a Bitcoin ETF, is going to lose. You are going to lose against Wall Street, lose against institutions, lose against the US government, and lose against Trump. Scott Besson, as I've orated quite succinctly and for some time, was specifically put in charge by Donald Trump to collapse the US dollar. He was specifically in charge of collapsing the British sterling pound. His job now is to collapse the US dollar into a new currency, which is what they're doing. So this is massive capitulation on a huge scale that we have not seen. Also keep in mind that there will be clarity soon. There will be massive legislation passed by Washington, D.C., and it will be bipartisan in favor of crypto and Bitcoin. In fact, earlier today, a gentleman was on camera with Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business saying exactly that the bills are being passed. They are unlocking trillions of dollars of deployment into every American's pension, 401k, institutional investors, sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, trackables, ETFs, index funds will all own, and many already do, own Bitcoin and crypto. It's a completely new asset class with barely not even 1% adoption yet. There's like 0.1% adoption. And I've said this for years. If you do the math computationally, which I have, even if there's 1% adoption of Bitcoin and crypto, Bitcoin sales to $1 million+ a coin minimum. Even if there's only 2, 3 other countries like El Salvador that create a Bitcoin reserve, even if they're small countries and they have a crypto reserve, we sail to $1 million+ Bitcoin. So today is the time to buy. And again, another thing to keep in mind, you're not going to execute with perfect timing. The exchanges are likely to go down and not honor your trade. Let's say Bitcoin drops under 50K. It might even happen today. Who knows, right? Gets that final knife move where they're going to twist it. Keep in mind that the elites hate you. It's not like you're going to be able to execute that transaction. The exchanges will collapse. They'll go down. They did as recently on 10/10. So you're not going to time it perfectly. What you need to make sure you're doing is dollar cost averaging into the big move, which we know is a guarantee. So I'm expecting massive volatility across all asset classes. I'm expecting the stock market to rocket past 50K. I'm expecting gold and silver to be incredibly volatile and sell off on the Iran capitulation once traders and Wall Street and the world actually knows what's going on. And keep in mind that whether or not Donald Trump strikes or comes with a midnight deal, both are extremely bullish. I would argue a strike on Iran is actually more bullish because it guarantees, in many people's opinions, decades of prosperity in a whole new region, like an equivalent of the Middle East Berlin Wall falling and unlocking prosperity in what they're calling a golden age. So I'm not saying I agree with all the war per se, but I'm telling you completely objectively, this is extremely bullish for risk assets. There's not even another place to put your money. What are you going to do when the dollar's dying like it currently is and there's massive hyperinflation? That forces you to invest your capital somewhere. It's got to go somewhere. And you want to be conservative, and you also want to play offense, which is what I've been preaching again for years now. I've always recommended gold and silver. I've always recommended Bitcoin and crypto. I recommended Bitcoin under 1,000 with my book, Think and Grow Bitcoin Rich. I recommend you own real assets like real estate with no bank debt. Again, it's the people with leverage that are going to get into trouble. I wouldn't even put it past if Michael Saylor's strategy completely goes bust. I actually think he's a plant and working for the deep state, quite frankly, to usher in the Bitcoin age. That's actually what I really think. I've told people to sell master, and nothing against him at all. I wish him the best. But again, does anyone really understand how his business or companies operate? I mean, he literally issues gargantuan levels of debt on Wall Street and then buys Bitcoin with it, and then issues more shares, dilutes his shareholders, and buys more Bitcoin with it. So again, if that makes sense to you, good for you, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I've always preached no bank debt, physical assets, cash flows, long-term capital gains, and then also be an investor. Be a long-term investor. What's the saying? You can only go as low as your cash flow. So all of this is playing out now, and I'll probably keep this video short actually, because I think I've covered like most of it, but it's always the time that the panic really sets in. Like, again, people are very fearful right now. They think World War III apocalypse is here. They think the entire Middle East and Iran's just gonna blow up, right? There were riots on our streets in Minneapolis just a week ago. Typically, that's a buy point. That's an entry point. That's when you wanna be buying. So I'll never underestimate Donald Trump. I'll never underestimate what that plan truly is. And I'll never underestimate what I already know, exactly what the elites are doing. Again, we should all understand, if you've tuned into this channel for any length of time, exactly what the game plan of the elites is and what they've been doing. So it's really bizarre to me because, people are pretending as if they're geniuses in gold and silver right now. Like they know something Goldman Sachs or like BlackRock doesn't know. You're lying to yourself and you're getting high on your own supply. It's as clear as day. No, this is an orchestrated plan. This is exactly what they planned. This is exactly what I told you they were going to do. I exactly predicted they would pump gold and silver. And then I've exactly predicted what they're going to do next. Buy and transfer all that new money into crypto and Bitcoin and stablecoins. Then they're going to announce a new US dollar stablecoin equivalent, and that's going to be the new currency reset. The petrodollar is gone. And there's going to be a bifurcated world with West versus Eastern fronts and our supposed World War III geopolitical system that we're currently in. So I'm actually curious, what you guys think. So leave me a comment, but like this is like as clear as day to me. Like it's as clear as day. It's as clear as it was when I was telling you to buy Bitcoin under 1,000. Like my narrative has never changed. And I've said for years that if you don't have conviction now, in moments like this, you never had any conviction. You actually don't believe what you say. People will sometimes say things like, Christopher, you're a legend. Well, I'm a legend because I never back down. And I do the same thing. And I tell you exactly what's going to happen. And when people start questioning the narrative, I don't bend. Just like Bill Gates tried to do this to all of you, and we said no. And now we're proven he's an Epstein alleged trafficker. And by the way, it came out too that Epstein had like all kinds of STDs, accusations that Bill Gates also had them. And we're probably just getting like the tip of that. There's so much more that they haven't revealed. But while people are focused on the past, and that's fine, learn about the cover-up, learn about what the deep state's doing. They're not focused on what the deep state's actually doing now. They're running a bigger scam now than they were in the Epstein days. You do realize that. They're running a bigger heist and a bigger crock rig job than they ever have. The whole system is rigged. The internet was invented by DARPA. And I often remind people Bitcoin was also invented by DARPA. And then it's amazing. People will be like, oh my gosh, if it was invented by DARPA, well, then why would I want to own it? You use the internet, don't you? Everything's invented by DARPA. The whole system's rigged. What don't you understand? So, I mean, when I understood that decades ago, that was the confirmation to buy Bitcoin. Just like the internet was invented during the Cold War as a communication methodology in case the grid went down. Bitcoin and cryptos, many of them have been invented, okay, by these same entities. For what? Cyber money and the future of technology and AI and robots that they've been hiding from you all these years. So again, I don't even want to pound it too hard today, but it's clear as day what is going on. It's very easy to understand, and it's easier to make money in this environment than it's ever been. Buy everyone's fear, buy the uncertainty, buy the panic, buy the pandemonium, buy the Iran strikes. When that happens, that'll actually be good news for the financial markets. As soon as you see that going on, gold and silver is going to go down. Mark my words. It'll be a little bumpy, but once that's complete, and the American people and Wall Street, more importantly, that rigged this whole system know that that's been completed and the system's been reset, there is no more fear. So yes, we have the dollar dying, and we have that, which will continue to push the narrative of real assets. But the big thing really has been Iran. This is also why oil is spiking, and I talked about this yesterday, which is why Donald Trump took out Venezuela to grab all their oil and Bitcoin, because he knows there's about to be a bottleneck, and there could be a shortage of oil in the near future if the Strait of Hormuz is closed, which is exactly why I did it. So again, I think I've stated this stuff a million times, and I'm not even trying to be eloquent, but it's so clear what's actually happening. You know, a story that's actually been interesting me far more than even like really what we're talking about is I've actually been reading a lot of books about the 3 alleged interstellar objects, the only ones ever to be discovered in human civilization history. Because I know that they're about to pull off an alien UFO Project Bluebeam's PSYOP, right? So I've been researching that a lot. For those of you that don't know, the Oumuamua anomaly, which was not a comet, was discovered in like 2016, 2017 here in Maui, where we have our, amazing telescopes. And there's been 2 more instances since that have discovered interstellar potential, what they are saying, alien intelligent life. And that was the Borisov comet, and also the 3-eye atlas, which I covered in a little bit of detail towards the close of last year in December. That's when it was closest before it reached what is called perihelion, where it starts moving away from the sun. But what a lot of you might not know, these are the only 3 interstellar objects that have allegedly ever been tracked or seen ever in human civilization history. That means it's from another solar system. Now, I'm not saying I believe all this, but what made the Oumuamua sighting so rare, which people like the head of Harvard, Avi Loeb, I believe his name is, who's actually saying he thinks it was alien. He actually thinks like it was a spacecraft. What was really bizarre about it, it was shaped in a cylindrical format or a pancake. They can't really tell by the light emission that they've seen, via their telescopes. But instead of slowing down and showing a comet trail, like dust coming off of it or stuff melting down, if like it was like an icy comet or something like that, it sped up and changed direction and actually accelerated after it passed the sun. Really crazy. I know this video is kind of sounding bizarre, and I'm jumping over to this other topic right now, but like I've actually been focusing more on these other crazy things going on than I'm even paying attention to the financial markets. Like, it's very easy to understand that the financial elites hate all of you and they've rigged everything and they're simply transferring the system and they're buying all your Bitcoin and crypto. How could you not understand that? It's obvious. It's exactly what they're doing. It doesn't even take someone that smart to figure it out. So I'm a little discombobulated this morning topically, but I did want to make you aware that the alleged peace talks or negotiations, at least if it's to be believed, have collapsed between Donald Trump and Iran. I'm still not going to put him past him that he brings some kind of negotiation to the table. But again, it's far more likely that he strikes. So what am I saying? I'm trying to say this in a simple way. What I'm really saying is that once there's finalization with Iran, which is the final target, that will then unlock the golden age. And what the elites are going to do is pump all these assets I've recommended sky high. They're literally going to send us into golden age freaking pandemonium, blow your diapers off, up only. That's exactly what these people are going to do. The system is rigged, just like it was rigged in 2008 and 09, just like it was rigged and they were lying to you in 2020, and just like it's rigged now. Once you understand that and you understand the game, you will position yourself for what's ahead. Again, Bitcoin has always been an IQ test, and it's why most people didn't pass it. Most people haven't bought Bitcoin yet because it's too volatile and they don't understand it. And they only buy later when the elites approve it. You know, when Bitcoin comes out with its Bitcoin ETF, which it's done, BlackRock. When the elites tell you it's okay. When Eric Trump's like, oh yeah, I think it's going to $1 million. Well, notice they're quiet now, which is actually bullish. We don't even want them speaking. We want them to be quiet. When they're speaking, usually that's the top. Keep in mind, we were also at 126K Bitcoin just a couple of months ago, and look how quickly sentiment has changed. Nothing's changed. Only people's emotions have. People are getting emotionally involved and not really seeing clearly or the forest through the trees. So, quick update. We had a little bit of the technical difficulty earlier. Make sure you follow me on X. I'm putting out a lot of great content like this that I just showed you, a whole lot more. I'm a buyer here. Again, I'm maxing out literally retirement accounts for my kids at these prices. So do with that as you will, but I'm expecting full all-time highs, records to be shattered, culmination, total capitulation in Iran, pandemonium, huge passing of legislation promoting Bitcoin and crypto, massive announcements from Fortune 100. Even Elon Musk will be announcing his Bitcoin ownership soon, as he's about to surpass $1 trillion in net worth. To bet against that, you're a freaking idiot. So again, I've said it for years. Like, your financial advisor never recommended Bitcoin because he's stupid and he's a part of an institution. And he will only recommend it after it's trading above 100K, which is when you first started seeing people talk about it. And they'll only recommend it again when it's at all-time highs, or they get an official stamp of approval from the people that are in charge of them. That's just how it works. So anyways, guys, I love you, man. I've got a busy day today. I hope you have a great day, but that's what I've got my eye on. Yeah, God bless you. I mean, Jesus Christ is King. I mean, to have a lack of faith, oh ye of little faith, proves you have none, proves you have no faith, proves you have nothing. And it's really, I think good testimonies. We got to leave all this into God's hands anyways. I mean, whatever happens in Iran is what God has decided, not what we've decided. And what happens next is completely in God's realm. So have a little faith and realize what I'm telling you and have been telling you. I've proven myself over multiple decades. So listen to what I'm saying now. Everybody's on the wrong side. Not you, because you're taking my advice. But the public, they're on the wrong side. They have been completely warped and psyoped into BS as usual, just like they all got fed by a toxic spoon in 2020 and complied. And then later learned Bill Gates was contracting alleged STDs by Russian hookers. I mean, the truth always prevails, and we always see who wins. I want you to win. I care about you. I love you. Make sure your money is out of the banks. Make sure you're in real assets, and make sure you're buying the dip in crypto and Bitcoin. You'll thank me for it later. God bless.